Hey, it's MK and I am back with another Shimmerz Paints design team project for you guys today. Today I will be doing two photos. One is a plaque of all about the Wyoming Penitentiary, and then of course a far away photo. I picked out two stamps to help me create my background today. I don't end up using one of the stamp sets, but these are the stamps that I picked out. I also have the January embellishment box by Some Assemblage Required, so I will be opening that later. And then for my ink, I have mustard seed, chipped sapphire, oops, sorry about that, and then the Distress ink in ground espresso, and I will be blending it with my blender tool here. I also have this really cool stamp and stencil set by Diana Reevely, so I will be using a combination of those as well. I also have a 6x8 piece of paper from Vicki Boutin, and then the leftover piece from Close to My Heart, the Urban Collection, which I think is the second release in 2019 or something like that. For my Shimmerz products, I have Shimmerz Bumblebee Bee, Creamies in Crow's Feet, Creamies in Witch's Blue, Creamies in Thunderstorm, and Inklings in Emerald City. Oh my gosh, Emerald City is to die for. I love that color. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and activate my inks. Now the Shimmerz paint, I do not have to activate, but the Creamies and the Inklings, I do have to spray with water and then activate them. Now I only do one little squirt and then wait for it to soften, and then I dip my brush into a water well or a jar of water, and then help me reactivate it using more water as needed. So the first thing I'm going to do is randomly go around my page with this stencil to help me have like a brick edge. It kind of almost reminds me of that wall that Harry Potter opens to get to Diagon Alley. So again, a look I was going for. Now I should have started off with probably a cream paper instead of straight white, because I do end up inking all of this a lot, to be honest. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking chipped sapphire and lining up my stamp that came with this stencil, and it's the outline stamp. So I think what you're supposed to do is stamp first and then ink later, but I didn't really know exactly where I wanted my ink to go or how I wanted my stencil to go. So I went ahead and I did the stamping afterwards. So it took me just a little bit longer to help line up the tools, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. So now I'm going to take this broken, almost like graph paper, stamp. This is an old stamp from Stampin' Up. It does not have a sticky back to it or anything, but I've never really put it on a block either. It's one of their really old ones before they went to the cling stamps or the see-through stamps. And so I'm just going to go ahead and work my way through all of the white spots to stamp in mustard seed with that graph paper. And then I very lightly went over my paper with my blending tool just to get it to so it's not stark white, and I thought I was going to paint in Emerald City. I didn't like it. So now I'm going to use my splotch, my packaging technique. Oh my gosh, look at that Emerald City. It is so pretty. I could have probably done this entire layout in Emerald City, but I don't. I go from Emerald City to Witch's Blue, and then add a little bit of Witch's Blue to this. And just blotch it all over. And honestly, I'm just creating a background. I am not worried about where things are going to go or what it's going to look like, because technically it's all going to get covered up. All right, so I went big this time. I went and got my blending brush because it was just too white. I did not want this much whiteness. So I'm going to blend over the entire area with the ground espresso. Now, I do have to tell you guys that I should have went back over with Witch's Blue and Emerald City and redid some more blotches, but I decided not to. I really liked how the blending darkened my splotches, darkened my packaging technique, and got me the look I was going for. I really like how dark all of this is. I'm going to quickly splatter in Crow's Feet. That way I have a little bit of shiny, shimmery black on there, which turns gray after the shimmer takes over. So this is the embellishment pack from Some Assemblage Required, and I'm just sorting out all the pieces and taking out what I want to play with. And the first thing I'm going to do is paint all of my wood veneer stars with the Bumblebee Bee, because oh my gosh, I love me some yellow stars. I really, really do. And this Bumblebee Bee takes to this wood veneer so beautifully. It is gorgeous, you guys. I love how just painting the yellow with nothing else looks on these wood veneers. They're beautiful, and I'm gonna have to pick me up another pot of Bumblebee Bee because it is a beautiful color. All right, so now that I am done painting those beautiful stars, I am going to cut out the circle piece from my Dusty Attic frame, but I'm not ready to paint it yet. I want to play with the acrylic first and see if this even works. I've never painted acrylic before using just watercolor, so let's give it a try. So the first thing I'm going to do is take Witch's Blue, and I'm going to paint it. Now I painted it a little bit too heavy, like a lot too heavy. So now I've got a big puddle underneath my acrylic, which I should not have, and I'm going to try to clean it up as I go. Thank goodness I did not get my stars with the blue when I was carelessly trying to clean up my mess. But I just keep dabbing the paint around. I keep moving it around in hopes that it will stick to the acrylic. And of course, I'm going to paint the edges of all the acrylic as well, because it was so messy and so much paint when I first started that it just went everywhere. So painting the edges was just the thing to do instead of trying to leave them white. And surprise, it does end up sticking. Oh my gosh, I am so super excited and stoked that this actually worked. And I love the effects, you guys. I love the blotchiness and the beautiful color that Witch's Blue turned out on the white acrylic. All right, next up is more Emerald City around my frame, and then all of the little flourishes and whatnots are going to be Thunderstorm Silver. So this beautiful gray color. Oh my gosh, it is such a pretty gray. It is so silvery. It is beautiful. And then I'm going to go ahead and come back around with the Emerald City, because what happened was in all chipboard, what it does is this color soaks in, but the sparkle stays on top. And now that it is soaked in and dried, I'm able to put more color on top, and it'll actually stay on the top and be green. And then of course, while it was still wet, I dabbed a little bit of crow's feet, which is the black, on top, just to give it a little bit of blotchiness. I love blotchy colors, you guys. I don't like perfect things. I like it to be a little bit messy. All right, next up, I'm going to take the stencil that came in the embellishment kit and go ahead and take chipped sapphire and stencil up a border along the left side. Just real quick, real light too. I only want a hint of stars, just a hint. I don't want a whole lot. And then I'm going to make an L shape over here in the bottom right-hand corner. Now I'm helping myself out by using a couple of the magnetics, that magnet to my mat. It is a glass mat that has a magnet on the back of it. And so this definitely helps me be able to rub around this type of stencil without having to get my fingers in the way too much. So I really do like those extra little fingers helping hold down that stencil. And then I'm going to go around one more time in chipped sapphire, because I really like how dark that chipped sapphire is. It is one of my favorite colors from Tim Holtz. All right, now I'm going to take this extra piece of scrap paper that I have going on, and I'm going to rip one side of it. And then I realize that it's diamond print on the other side, and I can't throw that away. That tiny little strip, I just can't throw it away. So it's going to end up on the layout as well, even though it was unplanned. I'm going to scuff up my edges really quickly. I ripped them, but then I kind of wanted them a little bit more ripped. So I scuffed them up real quick with my edge distressing tool. And now I'm going to go ahead and place them down. Place my blueprint sketch, and I really thought that this was a play on photo, to be honest. I used this blueprint because of the fact that this is a penitentiary. They stopped using this penitentiary in 1981. And every time that I think of an old prison, I always think of those Prison Break movies. And there's blueprints involved. There's some way of knowing the back end of the prison in order to know how to escape and whatnot. And so, in all honesty, it's a chuckle and a giggle. to all of those Prison Break movies, to be honest. Yeah, maybe it's an inside joke. I don't know. Maybe it's not so funny. I'm not sure, but that is why I chose to use this particular paper for these particular photos. All right, so next up, what I'm going to do is go ahead and start gluing everything down. I am using one of the solid film strips that came in the embellishment pack as well. Nothing else I am using is outside of the embellishment pack. Everything came inside that little brown envelope. Which I think is great because you can either use them individually or you can use them as a whole, as one whole embellishment pack. So I absolutely love it. There's postage stamps and tickets and all this stuff. And so what I did was I used the postage stamps because a lot of prisoners received mail while they were going. So like I said, I'm grasping at why I'm using what I'm using. But I also like the idea of having this film strip border with postage stamps and then this beautiful ornate frame that really isn't framing anything. It's just more of a decoration going up and down my page and helping me basically hold everything down. I did not use any adhesive behind that film strip at all, but the photos are holding it down. The film strip or the tickets are holding it down, or postage stamps and everything. So I really do like how that works. And I'm using just my finger to scuff up some of these tickets because they are a little on the thin side as far as paper-wise goes. And then, of course, I'm adding this photo, I think it says photograph. I totally forgot that I was going to put my 5-star review on this layout as my title. And I should have just given it 5 stars because I think that's great. It's not a hotel, but it's a prison and it's getting a 5 stars. But I went ahead and I called it a 5-star day because this was definitely a day to remember. This was our first time in Rawlins, Wyoming. And I know that I have talked about this prison before when I did a 2-page layout, I believe, for another Shimmerz design project. But I talked about it before and whatnot. And this penitentiary was beautiful. It was such a beautiful find inside Rawlins, Rawlins, Wyoming. I apologize. And we went by it twice because it was just a sight to see. It was so pretty. I wished we would have been there Monday through Thursday because I would have loved to see the inside. And it is on my bucket list now. So that way I can make it to see the inside of this prison because, oh my gosh, the intricacy of the architecture of this prison was beautiful. Absolutely. So I can't wait to learn more about it, in all honesty. And I will do that when I get to visit it, the inside of it. So anyways, I am using glue dots in order to glue my what are those called? Flare down. Now these flare are by Scrap and Happy Studios, and they are a set of 3 just for some assemblage required. So you won't find this set of 3 anywhere in the Scrap and Happy Studio store. So they are just for this box. And then I also used the glue dots to glue the acrylic down too. So, and then all the wood veneer from, all of the now wood veneer from Some Assemblage Required is sticky backed. So I'm just taking off the back and sticking it where it goes. And I have to tell you guys, that is uber super sticky, even on the mixed media. So you plan on taking it back up and you're going to rip your page. It is phenomenal sticky backed. I love it, especially for wood veneer. And that is it, you guys. I absolutely love it. I am going to take a little bit more of the Bumblebee Bee. Well, I'm going to support my ticket one more time because I've got that heavy acrylic on it and I worry that it's going to push down on it. But I am going to take a little bit more of this Bumblebee Bee because I just think that it is gorgeous for splattering, you guys. If you are looking for a beautiful yellow to splatter, you definitely need to check out Bumblebee Bee Shimmerz Paint Pot. It is gorgeous. It's my new favorite yellow, you guys. Seriously, I love the color of it. And you'll actually see the sparkle when I hold it up into this close-up here. So here you can see where it's not quite dry, but then down farther you can see where it has dried. Oh my gosh. And with that crow's foot or crow's feet, it definitely is just gorgeous. And I love that dimension of having the sparkle, the splatter behind and on top of everything. So I just think that it adds a lot to it. And oh my goodness, I really did enjoy how this page turned out. If I don't say so myself, you guys, I really do enjoy playing with all the different medias, the chipboards, the flare, the acrylic, the wood grain, or the wood veneer. I mean, I just love it. And to make my own background, I miss making my own backgrounds, you guys, but I have so much paper. It's like, ugh. Dang it, right? So anyways, if you are interested in earning anything free, then definitely use my name at the bottom of your order if you order from Shimmerz Paints, and they will put in a little freebie for you. Oh my gosh, how fun is a freebie? All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really, truly appreciate it, and I will check y'all later. Bye.